I've heard about all four of these, like, at least once, so I thought I'd just compile this all into one big video instead of doing, like, one or two separate videos. I'm gonna cut right out and say this, I don't get the hype between any of these franchises. Well, we have 3 shows and a movie on here. None of them I talked about in general until now, so, yeah, I felt like just basically saying I don't care about any of these for around a few minutes. It depends on how long the video is. I'll give in my reasonings for each entry on the list, but for now though, I don't really have a lot to say. But I will say this though, if you want to skip to a specific entry on the list, this is not going to be ranked in order or anything, then go ahead and skip. So that way you can get to a specific part of the video you actually wanted to see, especially since, well, I teased all 4 of them in the thumbnail and in the bookmarks, so there's not really going to be a surprise. So yeah. The 4 franchises I'm going to talk about, if you actually want to stick from the beginning up until the end, are Hazbin Hotel, Helluva Boss, K-pop Demon Hunters, and Murder Drones. That's it. So without further ado, let's get started. Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about Hazbin Hotel, so, what do you want me to even say about it? I've heard of this show for years, like, at most I would say 5 years, and at least I would say 3 years, and yeah, I never once got interested. In fact, I never even had it in my mind until I actually have to go on the internet. Or I unintentionally stumble across their YouTube's merchandise, which, yeah, that's a thing, by the way. Despite me hearing about this a few times online, nothing ever made me want to watch this show. I legitimately just don't care. The only thing that's resembled after this series that I'm actually interested in that actually exists was this funny video I found on TikTok. 2 guys are driving late at night doing impressions of some of the characters in a scene. I don't remember what, but I'll link it in the description if anyone's curious. It's actually pretty funny. Also, when it comes on the Amazon Prime Video, which I don't have the subscription for, but Hazbin Hotel is not the first thing I think about. I think of Invincible or The Boys or something like that, even though I haven't seen either one of them, but I like them. In my opinion, there are just better hotel-themed things in existence that I actually say I like over Hazbin Hotel, like the hotel episode from Bluey, the decent amount of hotels in the Pokemon universe. Even Sesame Street's Furchester Hotel sounds more interesting than this series. This is just a me thing, by the way, so, yeah, remember, all the entries on this list are just simply my own opinion. If you actually like or love any of these franchises, then, yeah, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. So, yeah, I honestly don't know what else to say other than I don't get the hype behind this at all, so, I don't know. Let's move on. Compared to Hazbin Hotel, which I literally just talked about if anyone actually only skipped up until here, Helluva Boss is a bit more interesting, but not by much. Well, I haven't known about this series as long as the previous entry, but still, I've heard of this one for a decent amount of time. By the way, let me just mention this real quick. Apparently there's Luna in Bluey artwork, and I don't like it. I don't hate it, it just doesn't sit right with me. You could do a better job than this. Someone's doing this, so yeah, I'm just pointing out there. Luna, by the way, is a completely boring character. Although I gotta respect Moxie and Millie's relationship. It's pretty damn healthy, actually, and I can actually kind of respect that. So like I mentioned, this is a little bit more interesting because this actually has demons taking place inside of hell. I don't know, that sounds interesting. It's like Spawn, but with more characters and more comedy, and also less violence. But I think it still has violence. I'll admit, the show got me interested, like, once, but that's it. Just one time, and I never really fully stuck with it. I honestly don't know what else to say other than, yeah, this is definitely more interesting than Hazbin Hotel, but again, not by much, since I also don't really get the hype behind this one. But at least I do understand where y'all are coming from with this. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say. Let's move on. Okay, unlike the previous 2 entries, I at least have a little bit to talk about with K-pop Demon Hunters. Let me say this before I actually discuss it, I don't listen to K-pop, like, at all. Not because I hate them or anything. But no kidding, until this movie came out, I actually barely knew they exist. And yeah, after all this, I still haven't listened to any of their songs. The only few things I know about this movie's existence is that there's a sequel coming out within the next few years. I actually have seen Casvan DePaul's Ultimate Recap cartoon, and it's honestly just fine. I don't really have a strong opinion about it or anything, so it's kind of mid. For some reason, my Five Belows actually have a small dedicated section, and honestly, that's surprising. Nah, I'm happy Bluey got its own section. And also, as of right now, this movie has 2 Squishmallows, Derpy and Sussy. They do look cool, I'll give it that much. I guess the movie's animation looks very nice, but again, I barely know anything about this movie, or even K-pop in general. Honestly, I would have preferred if BTS had some kind of movie over this. That's just my opinion. I like BTS, they need to come back. I felt like adding this in. Well, I can at least say that this is an interesting idea, but overall though, if I were a K-pop fan, I would definitely be into this, but in general, no, not really. Which is why I don't get the big hype around it, although compared to the 3 series that are on this list, this is a movie, and this may just be a me thing, but I'm not really a movie guy, so that might be the reason also as of why I haven't checked this out, but I don't know. Also, I don't have Netflix anymore, so that's another reason why I guess I can't watch this. Yeah, I'm kind of just rambling here, so I think we can move on to the last entry on the list. Alright, we're back on Glitch Productions again, but no, it's not for The Amazing Digital Circus, but for a series that has been out for nearly 2 to 3 years. I've heard so much good about it. Apparently it's good, apparently it's great, apparently it's almost as popular or even slightly more popular than The Amazing Digital Circus. It ran for 9 episodes. One of my Instagram followers even preferred this over Bluey, and I just don't get it at all. Some of my friends like this series a lot, and I just don't get this one. I am talking, of course, about Murder Drones. What's the deal with this series? I legitimately don't get it. I know I've said that for the previous 3 entries on the list, but I could get into some modern stuff. That's not really the problem here. The problem is that this isn't really interesting enough to the point where it would be like, you know, maybe I should give this a shot or something. In fact, back when I was still a fan of The Amazing Digital Circus, I was surprisingly up to date on this series. Not because I cared, but because I was still subscribed to Glitch's channel and I was up to date until the final episode. There is a Brendan Yates commission track of Morty from Rick and Morty up against Doozy, I think, and it's actually really good. I left a link in the description for this one as well if anyone's interested. As of right now, when I actually made my most recent Digital Circus video, I mentioned CG5. Yeah, CG5 made a Murder Drone song, and I actually listened to it. No, I'm just kidding. I did not give it at all a listen. I don't care. I can at least say it looks nice, but that's as far as I'm getting in terms of actually giving the show somewhat of a compliment. If I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather check out Meta Runners, cause Tari from SMG4 is actually a good character that I actually like, and this series for the longest time has actually been interesting, but I honestly never got around to watching it. Can I be honest? I really don't know what else to say for this one, so let's just cut straight to the outro. Alright, well those were 4 franchises I felt like talking about for a couple minutes each, and yeah, I just don't really feel that interested in talking about them anymore. Like I mentioned, if anyone is interested in any of these series, then yeah, that's fine, but for me though, I kind of just don't get it, and also I'm not really fully 100% interested compared to anything else I can mention. Like any other franchise I can mention other than Bluey and Pokemon that I haven't actually talked about before. I guess it depends on what video I feel like making, so keep an eye out for that, but with all due sincerity, that's really all I wanted to say. Since at least one person is probably wondering if I've seen any of these 4 franchises, and yeah, I just kind of felt like rambling about them for a couple minutes. So yeah, I think I'll just end the video here. I'll see y'all later before we do next time, and that'll be all for now.